And we're back in the studios once again with Kimberly and Ethan. What's up? And also with Chanelle.
Hey,
and
guys.
I will be talking about the Global Young Leaders. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so tell me about it. What is it about?
So when I left the last show I was on, I was telling you it's the Global Young Leaders Youth Conference.
Global Young Leaders Conference.
Global Young Leaders Conference. I'm saying it wrong. So it's basically a conference where you go overseas, either to the UK, to Europe, China, or the US, and you meet people from all over the world and you discuss global issues. So for mine in China, we discussed water scarcity.
We
Ethan?
discussed the refugee crisis.
And we discussed the issue with Turkey and Cyprus and Greece.
Okay. And Chanelle, what came out of the conference when you spoke about the water crisis, right?
Yeah, the water scarcity. So we had a scenario and we were divided into different countries, like groups.
Yeah.
So there was Japan, Philippines, and Vietnam. And we basically had like a mock conference to address the water scarcity issue. We had a lot of different opinions because we had people from Africa, we had people from Russia, Europe, all over the world. And they kind of gave their different opinion on water scarcity in their own country.
Yeah.
And they had ideas on how to approach it and how to fix it. So from my perspective, like what my group did, I went about it from a PR stance, not necessarily a physical going out and fixing the problem, but bridging the gap between the government, the business, and the society. So that was just my job from the conference. Yeah.
That's great. And so when you spoke about water scarcity, you looked at it on the global scale.
The scenario was based in China, but like I said, because everyone was from different parts of the world, we got to experience what water scarcity was like in all those different countries.
Yeah, because different people from different parts of the world are going to have different opinions on it.
Yes, they did.
Okay, that's a lot. So, Ethan, you were in Europe and you talked about the refugee crisis. Okay, and how did that conference go for you?
I think it's the same in all three, where we split into groups of teams, and just like in China, and I'm sure just like in the US, we had a mock conference, as Chanelle said, and we discussed the issues, and we all spoke from different stands. And it was my goal, my job specifically, to speak from a business point of view, and my goals were like to make sure that the home country is getting revenue and they're like stabilized, and to make sure the country that they're being brought to can accommodate them.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see how everyone took the concept and how they ran with it, and to understand what the refugee crisis means around the world.
Yeah.
And it's not a discussion here, and being exposed to places where it's actually happening and there's a real discussion going on about the refugee crisis was an interesting experience.
But did the Brexit come up in this?
Yeah, it came up once or twice, but it wasn't a focal point of the conference.
Okay. And Kimberly, you were in the US and the discussion was on
Cyprus, with the situation between Turkey and Greece, on who owns the island. Being the home country, because we were Turkey and they had like the groups like US, UK, Russian Federation, and China, it was kind of hard on us because we're the small country, and being in those small conferences, as Chanelle and Ethan said, we were like the bad guy with the big bad bullies, and UK and France, they would all just beat up on us, but we put up a good fight. We came up with some resolutions. We tried to be friends with everybody, but it didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but it was a great experience, seeing how we learned about the different countries and the different situations over there.
I'm glad to see that you all took something away from the Global Young Leaders. And with that, thank you so much, guys, for being on the Flex. You Flex crew, do you have any final comments or shout outs?
Well, since we're on the topic of GYLC, I just wanted to say thank you to Clifton Hunter, the big sponsor. Thank you to CNB. Thank you to Maples and Calder for allowing this trip to happen for me, and Ethan and Kimberly as well.
Ayanna, any shout outs?
I just want to shout out my family. Yeah.
And Trey's in the studio, and Lashana begging for shout outs. Thirsty. Anyway, shout out to my friends and family. And Ayanna, I hand it over to you.
Heard on Youth Flex today was the host Aliyha, Chanelle, along with myself, and our guest, Miss Deirdre Carmola of the Scholarship Secretariat and the CIYA. We want to shout out Funky Tangs for their continued support of Youth Flex radio show. Shout out everyone checking out the Flex on Periscope today. I want to shout out the entire Youth Flex family, all 100 and counting. You've been listening to Youth Flex, the weekly Wednesday radio show by young people. It is a joint initiative of the Youth Services Unit and Radio Cayman. We thank you for joining us today. Until next week, this is Ayanna saying, be impressive, keep your chin up, and God bless.